Hello and welcome to this new Android development tutorial. This is part 7 on how to make a video player application for Android. In the previous tutorial, we actually were able to play the video and to exit from that and to fix a couple of bugs. In this video, we will add some features to the app like the ones of rename the video, delete the video, and even share the video. Okay, to do that, we will go to our activity main.xml file, and after the list view, we will create a linear layout. Right here, we say linear layout with match parent, height will be maybe 50 dp, yeah, and the orientation will be set to horizontal. Inside this layout, we'll create some buttons. The first one, well, all of them will have the width as 0 dp, the height will be match parent, and the weight will be 1. Okay, we will create 3 of these. Okay, so the first one could be to delete, the second to share, and third to rename or something like that. Or maybe the first one could be rename, so id will set to rename, and the text will be set to rename too. The second one will be delete, so id delete, and the text will also be set to delete. Okay, and the third one will be share, and the text will also be set to share. If I run the app right now, I can see how this looks like on the emulator. So I'm running the app right now, and as you can see, I have this button bar which has rename, delete, and share. But we don't want this bar to be shown as by default, so we want to hide it and show when an item is selected. For that, we're gonna say, and on the linear layout level, we're gonna say visibility will be set to gone. In this case, if we run the app again, then this will be hidden, you know? Okay, it's hidden, but it's created, so we can show it when we want. Okay, great. So right now we're gonna go to our main activity.java file right here, and we will go into our on resume method right here, and after we set this on item click listener to the list view, we will also set on item long click listener, because a long click will select a file, right? So you're gonna say list view dot set on item long click listener new on item long click listener. Okay, and inside here we're gonna write the long click logic. Okay, so when we long click an item, we want to select that cell. Okay, for that, what I will do is I have to create a method on the adapter that will enable me to change the selection of this thing, because I need a way to get to change the background maybe. Okay, but as you can see, this element, this method also has a view passed right here, so maybe I can use that view to change the background. So I will test that right now. So I will say view that set background color, and I will set that to color that light gray. Okay, and I will run the app and check if it works. Okay, I am running the app, and I will long click on this, and as you can see it's set in light gray, but the sad thing about this is that the video plays still. So what's happening is that after a long click, this on item click listener is also being called. To fix that, we will create a flag outside the onResume method. We will call it private boolean is long click, as you can see, which defaults to false, of course. And when the long click method is called right here, we will set this flag to true. So we're going to say is long click will be set to true. Okay, so there's really tons of ways to fix this problem, but this is kind of the one that comes to my mind right now. So we set is long click set to true, and then we have to change this thing to false, you know. So let's do a couple of experiments right here, and here we're gonna check if is long click is set. We will maybe change it to false, so we change is long click to false, and it will return. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I will long click on this, and as you can see, nothing happens. And now we have fixed the problem, okay, which is great. Now the problem that, as you can see, is that I can select two things at the two videos at the same time, which won't be very useful for us. We want to select only one at a time. So we're gonna do something here. We're gonna introduce another flag, and we'll say private outside the onResume private boolean is selected. Okay, so is selected, we will use that variable right here, and what we will do here is that when something is if something is selected, we will kind of save the position of that selection. So we're gonna say private private int selected position. Okay, position, sorry, selected position. Okay, so when long click is called, what we will do here is that we will select selected position. So you can say selected position will be equal to position. Okay, and we also want to check to something if something is selected. Okay, so here you're gonna say if is selected, and we will do something, and we'll do something else if it's not. So if it's selected, so first of all, this on long click will be set regardless of it if it's selected or not. So we put that before. And now if this is selected, we want to unselect the previous one and select a new one. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, we have to unselect the selected position. Okay, to unselect the selected position, what we will do is we have to ask the adapter to get the view at a certain position, you know. Okay, which is a way of doing it, but we can also do it a bit differently without worrying too much about that. And the easiest way to fix this is actually if it's selected and position is, we have to check if the user unselects the select thing before selecting something else. Okay, in order to not make the user think he can select more than one element. Okay, so is selected, this flag will be set in the else statement right here. So is selected will be set here. So is selected will be set here to true, and when is selected, the flag will be cleared. So is selected will be set here to false. Okay. Right now, if is selected and the long click you know, the long click is happening on the same view that is selected, then we will unselect it. Okay, other way, if we have the position of it. Okay, so right now, first of all, is select will be false, so it will be this else block right here, and this else block will set these two lines right here, so we'll move them right here, and we set selected position to position, and we select that position. Now if it is selected, we will check if selected position is different than position, then we will return, because we don't want to do anything when we are not selecting this. Or maybe we have to return false, return false. Okay. But if we are selecting the thing, we have to unselect it. So we're gonna say view that set background color, and we set color that white. Okay, now let's see if this works. We will run the app right now to see if that works or not. Okay, let's see right here. As you can see, I long click here and it's selected. If I long click here, nothing happens. If I long click here again, it's unselected. If I long click here, it's selected. Long click here, nothing happens. If I long click here, it's unselected. So that's exactly what we want to happen. So right now, here we have to, before we set the long click listener, we will create a view. So final view, it will be button bar will be set to, we have to go to our activity main.xml and add an ID to this linear layout. So ID bottom bar. Okay, bottom bar. Then we go back to main activity.java, and here in bottom bar will be set to find view by ID r.id.bottom bar, and we end the line with a semicolon. And great. Right here, when something is selected, we will show the bottom bar. So say bottom bar that set visibility visible. Okay, and when we hide these, and when we unselect, we want to hide bottom bar, so we say bottom bar that set visibility to gone. Okay, so now let's run the app to check if that works. So now I'm running the app. I will long click these and the bar is shown. Okay, if I long click this, nothing happens, but if I long click this again, the bar is gone, which is exactly what we want to happen. Okay, so far so good. So this is great, and now the bar is being shown and not if we need it or not, which is awesome. So right now we're gonna define the buttons that we defined previously in the XML, which are the, you know, the delete, share, and rename buttons. So we can say final button. What was the first one? I forgot. Let me see here. So the first one was rename, then delete, then share. Okay. So it's a final button rename, we'll set to find view by id r.id dot rename. Okay, then you're gonna go to the next button, final button, delete. It's gonna be find view by id r.id dot delete, as you can see, and final button share will be find view by id r.id dot share, as you can see. Now we will set the click listener for rename. For example, we're gonna say rename dot set on click listener, and we say new on click listener. Okay, so when we click on the rename button, we have to do something. Okay, we have to rename the file. The same with the delete button, we have to delete the file, and the same with the share button, we have to share the file. So for the rename button, we will show a dialog in which we will ask for the new name of the file. To do that, we're gonna go ahead and say final alert dialog dot builder. We will call this rename dialog, as you can see. Go a new line, and I will set this to new alert dialog dot builder, and I will pass main activity dot this as the context. Okay, so that's the rename dialog. Now we're gonna set the text of the rename, the title of the rename dialog. To do that, we're gonna go and say rename dialog dot set title, and we'll set this to rename 2. Okay, so that's the title of the dialog, which these are rename dialogs, so we want to rename to something else. Okay, then we're gonna create a edit text that will enable us to get the new name from the user input. So the user will use the keyboard. So we call this input, and we set new edit text, and we pass our context, which is main activity that this. Okay, great. So that's our input. Now we're gonna get the rename path. For that, we're gonna say a final string rename path, which is the whole path, kind of the new name of this, and these will be videos list that get, and we will get the item at the position, so it would be selected position. Okay, so videos list get select position, that's the rename path. Now we're gonna get that path and show it into the edit text so the user can change it. So we're gonna go ahead and say input that set text, and we will set text to, but I won't want to display the whole path, so we're gonna create a substring. For that, we're gonna say rename path that substring. Okay, and here we have to get the index, so we're gonna say rename path that last index of. So we want to define the last folder, which is separated by // so this is single quote and // and we don't want to print the // so we're gonna go ahead and outside this put +1. Okay, and there we have the actual path, the actual name we want to change. So right now we're gonna set the input type, so I can say input that set input type, and we will set this to input type that type class text, as you can see. Okay, so we wanted to receive text as input. Great. Now we will add this input field to the rename dialog. For that, we're going to say rename dialog that set view, and we will pass the input field, so input. Okay, Now we have to set the positive and negative buttons of the rename dialog. For that, we're gonna go ahead and say rename dialog dot set positive button, and we will call it rename. As you can see right here, we will press a comma, new line, and we're gonna say new dialog interface that on click listener. As you can see, the ID helps. So here we have to end this line with a semicolon, as I'm doing. Okay, so inside the onClick method right here, we will create a new string. So it will be called string s. Will be set to new file rename path. Okay, and we say get parent. So we're getting the parent of the actual path, current path. We will add a / to this, and we will add the new name of the file, which will be input.get text. Oops. Okay. Basically, that's what we're doing here. Input.get text. Now we'll create a new file using this new path we just generated, and say file new file will be the name. So a new file is the name. We will say new file with the s path. Okay, great. Now we have to actually rename. So to do that, we're gonna say new file. Oops. New file, and we will set this to rename path, and these will be renamed to the new file. Okay, so that rename to new file, as you can see right here. Okay, that's great. And now we have this new file which was renamed, as you can see, and from here would be great if we update the contents of our text adapter. For that, we will say field videos list and set the data. Okay, so we're gonna say, after we rename, we say field videos list and text adapter that set data videos list. So this will update the array, the list view with the new data. Okay, so let's see if it works. Oh, it still isn't ready. So I have only set the positive button, but I have also to set the negative button. So we're gonna say rename dialog that set negative button right here, and we will set this negative button to cancel if we want to cancel this operation. So cancel, comma, and new dialog interface on click listener. Okay, and basically what we want to do here, if we want to rename, we want to say basically dialog that cancel. Okay, so after this we end this with a semicolon, and we say rename dialog that show, as you can see right here. Now I can run the app to check if the rename functionality works as we expect. So running the app, I will long click on this right here, this video. I will click on rename. As you can see, have the rename to dialog. I will want to delete these numbers, okay, at the end, and I will click on rename, and as you can see, I have renamed it, but now it is still selected. So after I rename it, I have to unselect the item. Okay, for that, what we will do is we will sort of get these, and we can do a quick fix on the set data method, because every time we set data, we want to clear the whole thing. Okay, so right here we have to set the data, but if we want to do it in a different way, we can maybe um, change the view or save the view for later. So apart from saving the position, we will save the view. So private view, let's view with capital B, view selected view, as you can see right here. And when the long click item is called, we will set selected view to view right here. So when we select it, here's when we select it, and we'll say selected view is equal to view. Okay, so when we end the rename procedure, we can go and say selected view dot set background color. We will set to color dot white, for example. So color dot white. I will run the app again and check if this works. Okay, I'm running the app. I will long click this and I will click on rename. I will delete these pixels word, just leaving videos that and before. Click on rename, and as you can see, it was now unselected, which is great. Okay, now that we have unselected our videos right here, we also have to set the selected thing to false, because when we unselect this thing, we have to set the selected thing to false. So selected will be set to false. Okay. So if we want it to be exactly as we want, so we want to also set the background color of the item, right? So the background color of the item would be also white. So background will be set to number sign and 6 Fs. So this will be kind of more accurate depending on the theme. So maybe the theme that you're using is not that accurate with these colors. So here I will test this again. I will long click on this time-lapse video and I will click on rename and I will delete the sky word right here and click on rename, and as you can see, nothing is selected whatsoever. And if I long click on it again, it is selected, and I long click unselected, long click on the first selected, long click again unselected, which is great. So we have implemented the rename feature right now, and which is great, right? So that's it for this video. In the next video, we will implement the delete and share features. I hope you enjoy it, and I see you in the next one. Bye.